Sousa Show. Sports,
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at a stop. I thought I was fine, and then once I got home, I realized it's a lot worse than I thought. I ended up having a ruptured disc. You say you're not hurting, and then an hour later, you're saying you're in all this pain. I just felt like most people would think that I was lying. And that's when I decided to call Daniel Stark. I owe a lot to Daniel Stark. They really got me what I deserved.
The difference is stark.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down, to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extraco.
Tervis is all about staying hydrated with style and durability. You can trust Tervis tumblers to keep your drinks the perfect temperature, hot or cold, for hours. From the classic insulated tumblers to sleek stainless steel water bottles, each product is built to last and comes in endless designs to match your personality. Stay refreshed and express yourself with Tervis. Visit tervis.com today and find your perfect tumbler.
Since our founding, we've been revolutionizing hair removal with cutting-edge technology and a commitment to empowerment. The You-Like Air 3, launched in 2023, ushers in a new era of sapphire ice cooling technology, offering nearly painless hair reduction in just 3 weeks. Experience the future of hair removal today at youlike.com, because at YouLike, beauty is about looking and feeling good. That's ULIKE.com. YouLike. With Ease US, make studio quality voiceovers for your videos online in over 149 languages and dialects, featuring 468 natural AI voices. Customize the volume, mood, and pauses to perfectly match your content. Plus, capture high quality videos with no watermark. Record your screen, webcam, and voice, and save them instantly to your computer. Never been easier to create professional grade videos and voiceovers. Try it today at easeus.com. That's EASEUS.com. Ease US.
Just use AMP-Pace.
AMP-Pace.
How are we doing? The Pete Sousa Show is doing just fine. We are live today in Flower Mound with a lot to cover. We've got some breaking news as we start the show, and we also have some scoops, I think, some big-time college football scoops that we'll share with you, an inkling of a scoop at least. The Pete Sousa Show presented by Slovacics, Crawford Austin Properties, and, of course, our good friends at Daniel Stark Injury Lawyers. Cannot forget Socorro Family Ford, First National Bank of Central Texas, and Extraco Banks. Darby Brown is going to join us in the second block of the show to talk about Texas football. Second day of camp underway yesterday. Darby was there, and she has been on the beat in Austin for the past, I guess, year and a half now. So interested to see what she has to say about the Arch Manning meter and exactly where the stock is right now. Yeah, there's a Micah Parsons story that's floating around. by Diana Rossini, and we will get to that as we get a chance to kind of flesh it out in the third block. But it's pretty interesting, and it's possible that Micah might be talking about asking out of Dallas. So we'll cover that sooner than later. But a couple things as we get started here. Scotty's back in the home office on the wheels of steel, and we, like I said, are in Flower Mound. And God, I got a little personal note. I'm getting ready to be the stepdad over here. Okay, and it's fascinating to see people turn into their parents. And what I mean is this: I drive up here yesterday, and my future stepkids, who I love. Lex is about to go off to college, so she's doing her own thing. We're taking her to college in a couple weeks. Caden, he's kind of the one that gives my bullseye right now because I see a lot of myself in him. I come home yesterday. Christy, the fiance, is hard at work, works from home, new job, busting her ass. I mean, all day, right? She's running marketing for this company. Okay, so she's obviously busy. I walk through the door. I mean, it was like the recyclables in the kitchen. So the trash can ended here, okay? And the recyclables somehow, in a feat unknown to mortal man, were stacked about 3 or 4 feet higher, right? But still somehow not falling off, like a game of Jenga, okay? And then I just said, for kicks, let's go over to the trash, okay? Open up the trash. I mean, it's just brimming, right? In the sink, dishes galore, okay? So I'm about to hit the roof. I go upstairs, and my man Caden, suave guy that he is up hanging on the couch with his girlfriend watching TV. And I'm just like, oh, hey guys. In my mind, I'm like, I can't believe this kid is going. So I go downstairs. I'm like, hey, Christy, we need to have a talk around here about these kids. And then I remembered that I'm the biggest joker there is, and I have no right doing any of that. And that I am quickly turning into my father, which should be a treat for everybody else. So buckle up. Buckle up for this, too. College football, the Big 12 show, Inside the 12, is coming back. Our first show is going to be on August 21st, before the Ireland game. We're looking at some big guests for that show, Inside the 12. It airs all over Big 12 country, in Big 12 markets. We'll air in Waco, Dallas, Lubbock, you name it. Also, you can find it on the Big 12's YouTube page, and I think it's going to be on True TV and ESPN Plus as well. But as we started to talk about quarterbacking situations yesterday, I started to get this vibe, okay, that we all remember now Big 12 media days. Colorado came with Juju Lewis, the superstar, 5-star, 17-year-old quarterback, right, that everybody is so excited about. And they also brought Caden Salter, right, the Liberty transfer. And there was a lot of talk about, hey, why are there 2 guys here? Well, one, because Dion was like, I hadn't seen either of them because I've been dealing with my health stuff. And I'm not sure who's going to start, right? I want both of them to have a chance to meet the media and to be ready, right? To have that leadership, especially for Juju Lewis, right? Let's start to ingrain that in him, right? Life experiences that can build into leadership. Now, we know that Coach Prime, by the way, as much as people kind of can give him, a hard time for being like Coach Prime and, a lot of sizzle, maybe more than steak, that's not true. You talk to anybody around the Colorado program, the guy is about rules. He's about accountability. And you don't want to break those rules. And I'm starting to hear some scuttlebutt that maybe Caden Salter isn't living up to some of the expectations that off the field, and nothing crazy behavioral, nothing like outlawish. I'm not saying that. But just certain things that he's not rising to the standard of Colorado football that have the Colorado coaching staff and Coach Prime soured on Caden Salter. And that has put Juju Lewis in the driver's seat, quite possibly, as they figure out who's going to be the starting quarterback in Colorado this year when they take on Georgia Tech in their opening game on August 30th. Right now, they are a 4.5-point favorite in that game against Brent Key and a Georgia Tech team that's done pretty well over the past few years. Remember, that is the team that went into Ireland. No, was it Ireland last year? Yeah, they went to Ireland and they started the spiral for Florida State. So that's just something to consider. And I started to think to myself, it's interesting now for Colorado because the locker room has shifted. Shiloh, Shador, Travis, they're extensions of Coach Prime in that locker room. And, when you get most accomplished football teams, no matter what level you're on, most accomplished teams, they have guys that govern the locker room, guys that take control, right? Guys that have ownership and accountability. And if you're an underclassman or if you're just a wild card, you're going to answer to those guys. And they're an extension of the coach more often than not. Is something changing? Like is something changing within the Colorado infrastructure? This could be an inkling into just the winds of change. Quite possibly another opportunity, as Deion Sanders would see it, for him to grow as a coach, right? But it's definitely a situation to keep your eye on. And that quarterback battle may be there's just like everything else in life, dude, when I'm involved at least, there's way more to it than face value stuff. And at face value, you'd think, you'd believe everything that you were told around Big 12 media days and around this quarterback situation going into the season. But if you look under the hood sometimes, it's interesting what you might find. And I popped the hood yesterday and was surprised at what I heard. And that's just something to keep your eye on. If you're a Colorado fan, if you're a college football fan, certainly if you're a Big 12 fan. If you're a fan of TV news and sports media, the shocking story earlier this week, not even shocking, but Shannon Sharpe, and I talked about it a little bit, and I'm not getting into Shannon Sharpe's personal life or what happened or, any of that, those transgressions, whether they were or they weren't. But I do want to talk a little bit about because I love media, where is media going, right? Well, I think Shannon Sharpe is a great example. The way that he handled this situation on the back end, forget about what happened before. But we're talking strictly business here. We're standing on business, okay? Like the kids say. Shannon Sharpe was put on leave by ESPN, and which totally is understandable. If you're Jimmy Pitaro, if you're ESPN, from all sides, I totally understand. I understand why he's not asked back. As somebody who works for ESPN, there's consequences. I don't I'm not getting into any of that. What I am getting into is the moment that he was on his absence from ESPN, he kept doing his show. He never stopped. And yeah, I give him credit too, because just seeing clips of those early shows, I don't watch the show. I know it does very, very, very well. Okay. And he didn't break stride, and his numbers didn't either. And his fan base has not. And I'm talking strictly numbers, right? So that show is doing incredibly well, obviously extremely lucrative. And when the news hit yesterday or 2 days ago that Shannon Sharpe wasn't going to return to ESPN, it was, he didn't he just kept going. And I think that yeah, I believe, I was watching, those clips you get, Clay Travis said this morning, he kind of piqued my interest with this. He said, he said ESPN needs Shannon Sharpe more than Shannon Sharpe needs ESPN. I totally disagree. ESPN is still, it's the king, dude. It's the worldwide leader. It's the mothership. And that's primarily because of live events. And the live events continue to grow. But hey, man, in the other room playing is First Take. And I'm not the only one that starts my day with that in the background. Fortunately or unfortunately, right? It's kind of like white noise at this point. But that studio show is a hallmark, and the live events for ESPN are a hallmark. So ESPN's a monster. No issues there. I think Shannon needs ESPN more than ESPN needs him. But at the same time, when you look at the product that Shannon Sharpe has, right, and the bottom line, how well he's doing, and if you're him, you don't really leave ESPN under protest, is what I'm saying, because this whole new medium now, where you look at Barstool, you look at The Ringer, right? You look at what Club Shay Shay's doing, right? You look at The Volume. You look at Rogue Media Network. I'm not kidding, by the way. Like, these are houses and outlets for talent to go where you're going to have a voice. And if you have a platform, the people will come and the sponsors will too. Like, the game is totally changing now. We're in a situation where you're going to start to see content like this produced by Rogue Media, picked up by other channels, like TV channels. That the whole distribution game has totally changed. You know, like, you no longer need a contract with the CBS and ESPN back in the day, a CNNSI, right? Like, or whatever. I'm digging in the crate with that one, but you get my idea. Like, you don't need that anymore. You literally can have your own vehicle. And I think, like, what Shannon Sharpe did after that situation went down, it seems to me, and I'm sure there were people advising him around the situation that were like, yo, this is going to be a kick in the nuts to your ego. And you made a mistake. Like, I'm sure he has some accountability there. Again, I'm not getting into that story, but I'm sure in a quiet place when he's talking to God, Shannon owns a little bit of that, like we all do. When situations like this bubble up, usually there's always, for me, I'll talk about me, there's always my side of the street, right? But at the end of the day, when you get past all that, you've got an extremely talented dude who's going to bring in a lot of money, and he may not have the bright lights of ESPN behind him, but he's going to have a whole lot of money in his bank account, and he's going to have a whole lot of people watching his show. And I just think, like, that's another indication of where we're going. We're going next to Darby Brown, headed down to Austin, Texas. We're talking Texas football. We're talking about Darby. I mean, if you're in Central Texas and you've been a fan of the Pete Sousa Show, you're a fan of Darby Brown, as we all are. She is with CBS in Austin now, and she's with us after the break. The Pete Sousa Show, presented by Slovacics, rolls on after this.
Dive into adventure with scuba.com, your ultimate destination for top-tier scuba and snorkeling gear. With over 20 years of experience, our expert staff, who've dived everywhere from the Galapagos to the Maldives, provides personalized advice to help you find the perfect gear for any underwater journey. Shop leading brands like GoPro, Aqualung, and Scuba Pro. Whether you're a beginner or a pro, trust scuba.com for the best in diving equipment and expert guidance. Explore now at scuba.com. That's SCUBA.com. Scuba.com. At Fullwell, we bring together the expertise of registered dietitians, MDs, and OBGYNs to give you the best fertility support. Our research-backed bioavailable formulas are crafted with your health in mind, ensuring the highest quality and safety. From preconception to pregnancy and beyond, we exceed industry standards with independent testing for harmful contaminants. With our comprehensive practitioner directory, personalized care is always within reach. Fullwell, your trusted partner on your fertility journey. Visit us at fullwellfertility.com. Experience the perfect blend of exquisite craftsmanship and life-changing technology with Gevi. Every product is built with precision, featuring specialized parts that ensure durability, efficiency, and safety. We put every machine through 6,000 rigorous tests to guarantee long-lasting performance. With cutting-edge technology and a commitment to energy efficiency, Gevi makes your life easier, greener, and more convenient. Upgrade your everyday with Gevi. Visit us at gevi.com to discover more. That's gevi.com.
With San, owning iconic furniture no longer requires paying a premium. We use the finest materials like Italian top-grain leather, known for its durability and luxurious feel, and apply meticulous attention to detail in every piece we create. Our replicas are crafted with the same care and precision as the originals, but at a price that makes them accessible. With over 15,000 satisfied customers worldwide, we've proven that high-quality furniture doesn't have to come with a high price tag. Explore our collection today at san.com.
At Covers & All, we've revolutionized protective solutions with cutting-edge, customizable covers, tarps, and curtains. Using advanced tech fabrics that are 100% waterproof, UV tear, and abrasion resistant, we ensure lasting durability with hand-sewn double-stitched seams. Our commitment to quality, precision engineering, and customizable options is unmatched. With vertically integrated operations and express shipping, we deliver premier protection at affordable prices. Visit coversandall.com today for the perfect fit, guaranteed to last.
At Open Goal USA, we're revolutionizing training for both soccer and lacrosse with our innovative portable rebounders. Perfect for players of all ages and skill levels, our rebounders improve accuracy, control, and technique in both sports. Built with premium materials for durability and ease of use, they're ideal for training anywhere, anytime. Whether you're perfecting your soccer game or sharpening your lacrosse skills, Open Goal USA has you covered. Visit OpenGoAAALUSA.com and elevate your training today.
Relax with Hemp Delicious. Organically grown hemp, massively blended with delicious organic herbs, responsibly sourced for their holistic benefits. Each sip offers calming, antioxidant-rich wellness. Brewed just for you. Sip the calm with Hemp Delicious. Find your blend at hempdelicious.com.
Introducing Muck-Off's classic pink bike cleaner, powered by revolutionary nanotechnology that breaks down dirt and grime on a microscopic level while protecting your bike's delicate finish. Developed by our mad developer Alex and tested by riders, our products are made by riders for riders. Discover more at us.muc-off.com, where we break the mold to bring you the best in bike care.
Get paid faster with Bill, the easiest way to send, receive, and manage your payments. No more delays, no more hassle. Whether you're a freelancer or a business, Bill makes payments seamless and secure, simple, fast, and reliable. Sign up today at Bill.com.
Darby Brown, what is happening? We go right to you. You're live, Darbs. By the way, this is Darby Brown. Everybody knows Darby Brown. By the way, Darby, look, check this out. So look at that. You were a part of this whole thing. 70,000 subscribers we have now. Darby was one of our first guests, always willing to come on and share time with us. Darby's a friend, and she's also a super duper personality in the sports world. Darby, what's up?
Well, congrats, Pete. That's awesome. It's been really cool to see what you've built here. So thanks for having me on.
It's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun having you on too. And this is your first camp in a while without covering the Baylor Bears. And when you're sitting wherever you're sitting and you see that Dave Aranda clip goes viral about the Wolf of Wall Street stuff, what are you like? That is now you speak Dave Aranda. So when the rest of the country is like, what the heck is this guy? For a lot of time, I think that was people's first exposure to Dave Aranda. For me and you, that's not the deal. What did you think when you saw that clip?
Well, at the beginning, I was like, oh, Dave, where are you going with this? It was just one of those moments. But, you know, like you said, it's one of many moments that he has had. That one just kind of went super viral here and maybe is the first one we've seen in a while. I feel like he's tried to kind of dial it back at times. Like last year at the beginning of the season, I felt there was a little bit of maybe let's do a little less of that type of stuff. But he seems to be back in his true form. But yeah, I mean, there's just so many moments. I think about the Berenstain Bears stuff he talked about maybe 4 years ago, and then reading that book to kids in Waco, which was amazing, and those types of things. Just he is a unique person in college football without a doubt. And yeah, if you haven't been exposed to it, a lot of people have now. But he's a unique. He doesn't speak like a lot of coaches. He speaks like Dave Aranda, so it is different.
Yeah, he's a total gift. Remember last year I had to educate you on the Three Amigos because he was talking about El Guapo in a press conference.
There's always something. Yeah, that is so true. Yeah.
All right, so now you're in Austin. Obviously, you've been at Texas camp. I saw you were there yesterday. Give me a vibe check around the Longhorns this year. Obviously, expectations are through the roof, as they should be. What are you seeing and feeling around the team right now?
Yeah, it's super exciting. I mean, you see Arch Manning get out there and lead kind of the pre-practice hoorah moment and then break out into practice. And I think, Texas fans have been looking forward to that for a long time. They've been looking forward to see how Arch will lead this team. And it seems like he really is. He's involved kind of in all the different groups around him. And so the excitement is very high. It's also, there's a lot of question marks, but it's funny because it doesn't feel like there's a lot of people that are doubting this team because they just believe in kind of what what Sark has built, in that the next group up will be just as strong as the last, and kind of just the program that this has become. But there really are a lot of guys. There was a lot of NFL draft picks on last year's team. So there's a lot of gaps to be filled in. But it's, like I said, it's just interesting to see that despite that, nobody's really doubting this team. It's all kind of the hype. The hype train is crazy down here. That is for sure.
What is it about Arch Manning that separates him from so many other quarterbacks as a person? Because if you talk to, we've had people on this show, NFL people that handicap the draft or whatever, and you talk to them about Arch Manning, and it's almost like he's a sure thing as a person, which eliminates a whole lot of concern. Of course, you look at the stock he comes from, but you have had a chance to be around him and just kind of not watch him, talk to him a little bit. Like, what is his deal that makes him just so calm and cool and has everybody believing in him?
Yeah, Texas offensive coordinator earlier this week said, one thing that Arch has to his advantage is that he's been a Manning his whole life. And I think when you know what that means, you get it. And it's true. I mean, he just has been brought up around guys that have had success in football at the highest level for years and done it the right way, treated people the right way, handled the fame, handled the critics, all the different things. And so I think he's taken a lot from, his grandpa, his dad, his uncles, and that is kind of all part of who he is. And I think when you're going to be the quarterback at Texas, you need to be prepared for the media is crazy. The amount of people covering this team, the amount of people nationwide that have eyeballs on you. And then eventually there's going to be some, we've talked about it. He's talked about, I'm prepared for the boos. I'm prepared for moments that aren't going to be so great, but I think he really is prepared for those moments, the highs and the lows, and just the way that he handles even some of the most, veteran sports writers around here. He'll joke with them about their outfits or whatever it is. He just is not afraid to really show up as a human and be answering the tough questions and kind of just be super humble. He's definitely, he'll be the first to say, like, all the Heisman hype and things like that. He's like, I don't really get it. I got to go prove it. And I think it's, maybe it's not 100%. Maybe it's a little like he's selling himself short, but people like that. And I think that's kind of how he feels. He's like, I'm ready to go prove, what I can be. And so I think he has all the right stuff. And now he's just got to see how it all plays out this season.
You ended up in Austin. I think it was just in time for the Red River rivalry game last year, right?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
So you saw the buzz, obviously, from that point on throughout the rest of the season. In Texas, I always tell people, if you go to a Texas game and you're down on the field before the game, really no matter how well, I mean, of course, if they're winning, it's better, but it's always like the state fair, really, like just a regular game. It's just like an environment unlike any other. This year, are you seeing even more of that around the excitement? Like I'm jumping on the point you made about the media at practice and stuff. Has there almost been more of that this year than last year? Like, is it growing and growing?
Well, I wasn't here for fall camp last year, but I'll just say that I've never witnessed anything like this as far as just the amount of reporters and people and the whole thing is just, I mean, it's a super sized program for college sports and you feel that. So I'm sure it's, kind of the standard is what it is around Texas as far as who's all involved. But I have to believe that, it seems to be like there's a lot of interest. And then just the national stories, that part to me stands out too. I mean, Arch Manning has been doing interviews almost the second that Quinn Ewers announced he was going to the NFL. He was doing a sit down, and with the ESPN, and then it's gone on from there. So there's a lot of, it feels like it's not only local, but it's everywhere. Everybody's trying to kind of get in the mix, which again, you can't argue with the fact that even Arch Manning aside, Texas has been just shy of a national championship the last couple of years, and they have signs that they could do the same thing this year. So obviously, they're going to be in the conversation, and it seems to be pretty high.
As a journalist who knows exactly what they're doing, when you show up to a camp or a practice like that, like, how do you navigate developing like your story ideas and stuff? Like what are you working on now? And like, because there's so much there, right? And you have the access. And we were just talking about before you came on, I talked about in the first block, Colorado quarterback stuff, which is super interesting, but that was more football. Then we talked about just like the changing of the media landscape, right? There's just major changes going on. But at the same time, I still think like the CBSs of the world, like they get that first access, and that's you. Like, what are you doing to craft stories with so much going on with a team like this?
Yeah, Pete, I'll be honest with you. It's been kind of a learning lesson for me over this last week, because I just feel like I didn't, we were focused a lot on high school football in Waco, which, we don't do as much of here, and all these things. So I think I've kind of had to navigate that. Like, all right, where do I start with this team? Because there are so many storylines that you can go off of. I think, you start with what you see, who's standing out at practice, who's coming back from injuries, how do they look, things like that. So you start with what you see, by the way, while you're trying to man a camera and film practice too. So it's hard to be as detailed when you're doing that, but you start with what you see, and then you get into the interviews, and you talk to Sark on day one, and what's he talking about and who's he calling out and different things, energy type stuff. And then the next day we get a few players and kind of same thing, get a read on different things and kind of build it from there. But there are so many different ways you can go about it, try to dissect it by position group, and different competitions for different positions right now is always big. So, it's funny. I don't love all of those stories. I love football, but I want to see football played. I want to be while covering games. I think you could talk about all this stuff forever, and it's like, who knows how it's going to play out? We don't really know. We're going to have to see on August 30th. And I think that, so it's a lot. It's kind of a lot about nothing, but it is exciting.
I was talking to somebody yesterday, like an old school football guy. And the reason why he was telling me, the reason why people love football so much is exactly what you're talking about. Like, now we're getting like a month away. And when you're like a week away, it's almost like you start to talk about going on a vacation. Like, say you're going to Italy, you talk about it. And then the game is like the vacation. Then on Monday or Sunday in college football, you talk about the vacation. And then the next week you're getting ready for another vacation, right? Like, that's why football has worked so well in America over the course of our lives. You mentioned Sark. That's a guy whose story I love to follow. Me with my personal journey, like getting sober. Sark, same deal, like obviously on a much higher level. But like, that was a very public fall from grace. And now he's just like, to see him crush it and to see him owning one of the hardest situations in sports is super impressive. Like, what have you taken away from being around Sark? His demeanor, I love how you said, see who he's calling out. Obviously, there's some mental chess that he plays with his guys and maybe coaches. But what have you gleaned from being around a personality and coach like that?
Yeah, he just is very consistent. I feel like you're going to get the same Sark every day. There's never really a time where he shows up to the media and it's like, whoa, what's going on with him today? Or what, you kind of get the same guy. And he's very intentional with his words. He's very strategic about what he's doing and the program he's trying to run. And he just he's very focused. And as I mentioned, the energy, I felt the energy the last couple of days too. I think it's always there, but obviously I've never been around him in the preseason, and it's always going to be a little higher, maybe just as you get it going. But I think the energy is 100% as well. And so all those things combined, it's just, he's consistent. And I do think part of that, his story that you mentioned, he doesn't talk about it really ever. And, why would he on a day-to-day basis? But, it's there. And so I think, what he's been through and the position that he's in now, he just takes it really seriously. He had, it's kind of been reported, NFL has kind of looked at him a bit, and he wants to be at Texas. He wants to get a national championship, at Texas. And so I think he just, how much this job means to him. And he just kind of is the same Sark every day, which I think players have to appreciate that too, because nothing's worse than a coach where you're like, you don't know what version.
Oh, yeah.
The
totally.
up and down. Yeah. So, that's what I see from him.
He's by the way, that's like low key. And you mentioned it. He doesn't talk about it much. I heard him talk to Joel Klatt about it once, because they're both sober. Mm-hmm. It's one of the best like comeback stories around. And it's cool. Like, I love the way he handles himself. He's the kind of guy who just like, he has what you want.
Right.
I think that's kind of what it's all about. What do you think this Texas team can do this year? Do you think that they're national title bound?
I do. I think their offensive line, they lost 4 starters. So that is, to me, that's not the greatest start, obviously. But They do have some good guys coming in. They feel strong about that group. But I think the quicker that the lines, both sides really, because there's some defensive interior guys that they're missing as well. And they brought in 5 transfers, which is a lot for this team. So as the sooner they can figure out up front, the better everything else will go. And I think that's kind of the biggest question right now, as well as some of the receivers. Like, there are gaps on this team, but 7 starters on defense back, Arch Manning, with what we've seen from him so far, I just don't think you can count this team out. And then you kind of look around at, even their pick to win the SEC. And at first I was like, really, are they? But then you look at everyone else and it's like, yeah, why not? So I think if they can do that, they can win the national championship. And, I do think they've been knocking on the door so close for a couple years that you just got to keep on knocking and something will happen. So I do think they can make it happen.
We talk a lot of Big 12 here, and the separation between Texas and Oklahoma since joining the SEC is like, it's getting wider and wider and wider. And this is obviously a huge year for OU. Have you gotten a chance to watch Anthony Hill at all? That guy is like, what kind of player is he like when you get to put your eyes on him up close?
Yeah, he always stands out. Every play he makes, it's eye-popping. And he just has an edge too. Like, sometimes the Texas guys won't really tell you like it is. Like, they'll kind of just be whatever when they're in front of him. But he always will be like, no, I'm not messing around. Like, I am doing my job. And you know what you're going to get from him. And so you see that on the field too. I mean, he's incredibly athletic, super smart, and just he's eye-popping. Same thing with Colin Simmons. Those two are unbelievable. And Colin Simmons he's super young and one of the best freshmen in the country last year, and he's going to have another great year too. So those two, they're going to cause some problems together, especially. I think it'll be fun to watch.
And never have I ever played quarterback. I cannot imagine what it is like, whether you're crouching under center or in shotgun and you're looking at a dude like Anthony Hill, like 113 tackles last year, 8 sacks, like the guy, and he's only getting better from what I hear from people like you. It's kind of cool. One of my favorite promos ever at KWTX was the Classroom Champions promo, where there were 2. You think one Darby Brown is great? We actually had 2. Darby was playing soccer against herself. She was studying. One, there was an evil Darby that was cheating off of a good Darby. So I wish we had that video. I don't have that, but I do have video of you playing soccer recently.
Oh, no.
Darby, what is going? So, I mean, do we have to have you? This was the Major League Soccer All-Star Game was in Austin, right?
Yes.
This was the Media Wars, which is a great idea, whoever put that together.
Yeah.
But here's Darby. So you played goalie?
Yeah, it was a goalie war competition, which I've never played goalie in my life, of course. I also haven't played soccer since I was like a little kid, like rec soccer. So I do have decent hand-eye coordination. Like, there's some athletic ability there, but as far as actually kicking the ball, like, definitely not. It was fun though. It was a fun week here to have the All-Star game. But yeah, I'm not a soccer player, that's for sure. I bought cleats for this because I was afraid of injuring myself. And apparently I bought the cheapest cleats I could find at the store, but I guess they were like kind of fancy and everyone's like, oh, you're going to know what you're doing. I'm like, no, I didn't even know these are fancy cleats. Like, it was just not my thing. It's funny.
And for people who don't know, Darby is an athlete. She's got sports in her DNA. When you have something like that, but no matter how good of an athlete you are, when you're a stranger to a sequence of events like that on the field, it can be super weird and super scary. Was there any part of you that was like, I don't want to do this? Because that's how I would have been.
Well, it's funny. I feel like I've had to do this. I don't know what it is, but there's just different things that roll into town. I've had to do this a few times here in Austin, and I kind of just figure it out.
It's so likable. Like, literally, it's so funny what grabs us. Like, as you scroll through Twitter, there's so much crap. Yeah. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, like, what is this? And like, it's not like, it doesn't take somebody to know you that has to see that. It's super cool, and it's super endearing, and like, it's weird. It's almost like I feel like we kind of are getting away from that a little bit, but it's like, it's something that still everybody loves. It's a home run.
Yeah. I'm definitely not afraid to make fun of myself. I also will say, like, as far as being nervous, like, I do know I work out. I can do basic athletic stance, can hold it, whatever. I can get by, but my coworker actually played soccer. Of course, he was out of town, so then I had to play. So I was like, all right, well, we'll do what we can. But yeah, it it was funny. I've also tried to do roller derby once. That was way worse, by the way, way worse. So, yeah, we'll see what I have to do next around here. There's always something.
Were you nervous? Did you know you were going to get proposed to? Darby's engaged, everybody. What was that? Did you know? Were you nervous?
No, I had no idea. I actually almost like ruined it because I was like, oh, we were going to go to brunch with his parents. And I was like, I'll just go to hot yoga and like put my hair up like it is now and whatever. I'll drive separate, meet you there, whatever. And so I had no idea. And then I didn't know until we walked into this place that I thought was going to be a restaurant to see his parents. And then it was not a restaurant. And we were the only two people in this whole like property they had rented out. And I was like, oh my gosh, wow. And then I just immediately started crying. So I was completely, I had no idea. So no nerves because I was clueless, which is probably better, but yeah.
Was it a blur after it went down? Were you almost like, I can't like what was that like?
Yeah. We had a photographer there that he had like told to, be hiding or whatever. And so then after it happened, we tried to take like photos and I was just so kind of like flustered and like what just happened. I was like, I don't really want to take photos right now. I feel like I'm like, oh my gosh. So yeah, it was definitely a blur, but it was a good day and it's been fun trying to, plan a wedding and all the things. But yeah.
Is it? I'm having a different experience over here, but well,
you're not having fun. Well,
no, it's fine. We were last night. It was funny, and I'll listen to the last thing, and then we'll let you go. But we were talking about like a photographer, and like, obviously we want a photographer at the church, but then like at the reception, we're not sure. And then Christy's like, well, maybe we can do this thing with like QR codes on a table where people. I was like, I don't want people walking and seeing a QR code. But then I'm like, you know what? I just need to stop talking and just do whatever she wants to do.
Yeah.
Because these conversations, there's never been one of these conversations where it's like, damn, Pete, you're right. Like at least not in this realm of stuff, right?
Yeah, so true. My fiance Luke, he's like, he'll try to suggest something, and I'm like, or we can do this. And he's like, okay, yeah. So yeah, he kind of gives in, but. Anyways, exciting times.
Yeah, I'm working off the same playbook. Luke and I are. All right. Well, look, Darby, thank you so much for joining us. Keep kicking ass. And, we'll talk to you soon here during football season. You know the deal. You need anything, you just holler.
Yeah. I'm coming to Waco for that big concert. Excited about that.
Oh, really? When is that?
August 23rd, I think.
Okay.
So,
look at you.
Yeah.
What's the big concert? Tell me. I'm like out of touch.
Turnpike Troubadours and Cross Canadian Ragweed and a bunch of other guys. I think it's the first concert they've ever had at McLean, so that'll be fun. So
wow, all right, Darby. Good. Well, I don't know that you should have alerted everybody. Now all your fans are going to be at McLean. Darby Brown, folks. Darby, where can people find you on Twitter? Cool stuff like that.
At Darby Joe Brown on pretty much all social media. But yeah, you can see me try to play soccer or whatever other sport. Love that you brought that up.
I got you covered, Darby. You're one of my all-time favorites. All right, we'll talk soon.
Okay.
All right, that was Darby Brown, just one of the all-time coolest, and so cool to be able to share her experiences at Texas football camp with you and experiences in life. All right, we're going to step aside. We're going to dig into that. Scotty's, stirring the pot back there, talking about Micah Parsons leaving the Cowboys. So we'll get to the bottom of it. Scotty, I'm tasking you with filling me in on this tweet, and we'll go from there. All right, the Pete Sousa Show presented by Slovachiks. What's up, Scotty B, the Baylor King? And what is up, Bear the Truth? We had another dude in here, Will C. He was talking about CDE. I don't know what that means. All right, we'll be back after this.
Overwhelmed by your inbox? Clean Email is here to help. Organize, clean, and manage your emails with powerful automation tools. Say goodbye to spam and clutter and enjoy a stress-free inbox. Try Clean Email today at cleanemail.com. That's CLEAN email.com. Cleanse your body of accumulated toxins and embark on your wellness journey at your own pace. At Global Healing, we provide premium supplements to help your body heal naturally. Combine that with OrganicHemp.com's top-quality CBD for ultimate balance. Start your healing journey today at GlobalHealing.com and OrganicHemp.com. Unlock a world of convenience with Mully Box, your one-stop solution for personalized subscription boxes delivered right to your door. Each box is tailored to your taste. Experience the joy of surprises. Subscribe today at mullybox.com. That's MULLYBOX.com. At Toussaint's, we understand that maintaining a healthy lifestyle can be challenging, especially in today's fast-paced world. That's why our mission is to make fitness accessible to everyone, anywhere. Committed to excellence, we adopt a user-centric approach guided by ergonomics and medical science. With a team of seasoned professionals in R&D, design, and manufacturing, we prioritize quality across our entire product line. Visit Toussaint's.com today and start your journey to better health. That's TOUSAINS.com. BizChair.com. Your one-stop shop for premium commercial furniture that blends quality with affordability. From ergonomic office chairs to durable restaurant seating, we cater to diverse industries including corporate, medical, hospitality, and education. With over 20 years of experience, we offer fast shipping, exceptional customer support, and furniture solutions that stand up to high-traffic environment. Elevate your space with BizChair's vast selection of stylish, reliable, and cost-effective furniture. Visit us today at BizChair.com to transform your business. At Mitzi, we believe the right light can transform any space. Born from a third-generation lighting family, we craft beautifully designed, premium lighting that's made to be affordable. Inspired by Grandma Mitzi's eclectic style, we're on a mission to make high-quality lighting accessible to all. Whether you're updating your space or adding a unique fixture, Mitzi has the perfect design for you. Beautiful, well-made lighting without the high price tag. Discover your perfect light at Mitzi.com. That's MITZI.com. Mitzi. Founded in 1910, Samsonite is the world leader in durable, high-quality luggage and travel accessories. Made to the highest standards, our products won't let you down. We give you the confidence to get out there and explore. Inspired by the past, devoted to the present, and built to inspire a multi-generational future, Samsonite is here to elevate your journey. Travel with Samsonite and pack confidence every step of the way. Shop now at shop.samsonite.com. The grinder mentality that Randy and Brent Habert built into 44 Pro runs deep within our team. Every member shares a passion for the craft, the game, and most importantly, the player. When you step onto the field with a 44 Pro custom glove, you'll feel the difference. It's not just a glove, it's a 44 Pro. Crafted with dedication, made for performance, and built to last. Get your custom glove today at 44pro.com and experience the 44 Pro difference. That's 44pro.com, 44 Pro. Welcome to Kitbag, the ultimate destination for football fans. Whether you're cheering for Arsenal, Chelsea, Manchester United, or any other top club, we've got your team's colors running through our veins. From official replica kits to custom player prints of your favorite stars like Ronaldo, Messi, and Kane, Kitbag is your one-stop shop for all things football. Powered by Fanatics, we deliver to over 180 countries, ensuring you get the gear you need fast. For true football passion, think Kitbag. Visit kitbag.com today. That's KITBAG.com. Kitbag.
All right, the Pete Sousa Show. We bring you back. There he is, Scotty Swingler. This is segment 3 where we're swinging for the fences. This is when we bring Scotty in, Scotty Swingler, and that's why we call it swinging for the fences, because his last name is Swingler. Hey, everybody.
I can't tell which voice you're doing there. I can't tell if that's like.
I mean, it's 60s. Just like the morning. It's the morning. Radio guy, like even in Philly where I grew up, like the schmuck who goes market to market, just never been himself on the air, like tries to get by with a voice and no soul, and it's just never worked. Well, it has worked, but it's not who we are, is it, Scotty?
Not at all. Not at all.
All right, what do you got? Give me the update, because this happened, I guess, right as the show started. And so Scotty's the producer. He runs the ship. And he said, hey, there's something going on with Micah Parsons. And I got a tweet, but let's kick it into it now. It's almost too deep to get into on this kind of short notice. So what do you got? I'm super interested.
Yeah, Diana Rossini stirring the pot today on X. And Pete, I am not very happy. It looks like Bear the Truth's even less happy than I am. But let's throw up this tweet so everybody can see it. The Micah Parsons-Cowboys relationship has deteriorated to the point where the star pass rusher is considering drastic measures, which could include a trade request or even a declaration that he is severing his relationship with the team, per multiple sources. That was what I saw when I texted you. She followed that up actually during our first segment with this clarification. And we heard Jerry Jones talking about this at the press conference. So I don't think This is too hard to believe. Among key issues, Parsons spoke directly with Jerry Jones over multiple days in the spring. The team believed those conversations were negotiations and that it had a deal. But Parsons believed the talks were just conversations and wanted his agent to handle the negotiations. When his agent attempted to start negotiations, the Cowboys declined to engage with him and told the pass rusher they believe they already had a deal. Now, the team is refusing to engage with Parsons' agent at all, creating a tense standoff and increasing friction.
Wow. You know, his agent is the guy who represents George Pickens, too, for whatever that's worth.
Pete, what are we doing?
Scotty, here's I just want to say this, and then I'm going to kind of turn it over to you. But to me, and this is like hyperbolic, right? This is right now. This is reaction. This is why we do this. If the Cowboys were to lose Micah Parsons and he were to do like what Diana Rossini is saying he just might do, and that's great reporting by her. I like the second tweet as well. Although people get all over her for being inaccurate, but I mean. We'll see what happens here, but I have to trust her reporting, and that's what I'm doing.
She did credit multiple sources, and this is via The Athletic, which is legit, obviously.
Yeah. And Diana Rossini's legit. People have climbed all over her in the past, and you and I joked before the show, like, "Oh, how accurate is she?" But she's great. I think that Dallas Cowboys fans, a lot. I mean, people like you, will go apoplectic, but like this could be the last straw with like Jerry and Stephen Jones. It's like, what the hell are we doing, dude? Because it looks like from what Rossini is reporting, that it's just those. It's like talk to his agent. Like that was very and right. This is what we talked about. Mike Florio talked about this with Adam Schefter in the story about the Raiders guy, Christian Wilkins, who like had kissed a guy on the head, and then the guy went to HR, and that's why he was cut. Mike Florio was like, that is not the story at all. What happened here was Adam Schefter talks to this dude's agent, right? And like, then he kind of carries the water for this agent because he knows on the back end, you know, he'll get a couple stories, right? Maybe like this Micah Parsons one. I think they may have the same agent actually, Christian Wilkins and Micah Parsons. Anyways, but like, this sounds like it comes from an agent, but Diana Rossini is saying multiple sources. It certainly sounds like it comes from a player side. Do you agree?
I don't care.
I love you. Yeah,
Pete,
good answer.
Pete, we heard Jerry Jones BSing last week on stage with his little smirk and his ha, I'm an oil tycoon, like his persona. Like I don't deal with agents. I talk directly to the players, man to man. He was doing that last week. So like whether golly, I'm knocking stuff over on the desk. I'm so fired up. I don't care who this comes from. This is unacceptable. There's no other owner, GM, sports organization who could say, well, I'm not going to deal with that player's agent. They would be like, yeah, that's normal. That's fine. Like, there's no other place. We're only laughing about it last week because it's Jerry Jones. But if this cost the Cowboys their best football player, what are we doing? I mean, last week, only like 26 people watched this video, so maybe we need to link it. Last week, I did a segment just going through all of the bad deals Jerry's made for the last 7 years. Every big contract he signed, with maybe the exception of CD Lamb, we will see, has not paid off for the Cowboys. Every single one. And so maybe that's why we shouldn't re-sign Micah. Look, Bear the Truth already commented and said, guys, I'm more down about this than y'all are. Let Parsons go in the era, you know, like so this doesn't mean Parsons is a guaranteed thing, but can I tell you something? Parsons is a hell of a lot better than Terrence Steele, who we just signed to a massive deal. Like if you're going to be giving out massive deals to stars, this is the star. This is the guy that is worth the money. And we know this, Pete. Everybody knows this. In NFL football, there are two positions you should pay premium for. 2, quarterback, and pass rusher. And here's the deal. Dak is the 16th best quarterback in the NFL, and we're paying him like a star. Micah Parsons is a top 3 pass rusher. Nobody disputes that. Yeah. He is a top 3 pass rusher in the sport. Pay the man. Pay him. And what I would say to Bear the Truth about in the era, start over, rebuild, Bear the Truth, you can't rebuild until Dak is off this team. You can't rebuild until that contract is off the books. So yes, I'm with you on rebuild. We need to cut bait with Dak if he doesn't get us to the promised land this season and draft a rookie and build around a rookie. That's how you can really reset the salary cap, pay a quarterback a lower number. But you got to have Micah Parsons is a top 3 pass rusher in the NFL. Pay him. Talk to his freaking agent. What are we doing?
Yeah, look, I couldn't agree with you more. And I think what the one aspect I think that the Cowboys are leaning on, and Kyle Yeomans shared it with us yesterday from Oxnard. By the way, we have Brad Sham lined up for Tuesday. So he'll talk to us again. We'll have another Cowboys guy, the play-by-play guy, obviously legendary Brad Sham, talk to us, and of course we'll ask him about this, depending on where it is right now, because it seems pretty fluid, or where it is there. The organization feels like they have a ton of leverage because they have him through 26, and this year he's making $25 million, which is not like a pauper, and I understand these guys want to get paid what they're worth, and this is not like he's reinventing the wheel here. Micah Parsons is. But it sounds like the Cowboys have this dude over a barrel. And Stephen A. Smith said this yesterday, and I'm not saying that Michael Parsons or anybody are taking their cues from Stephen A. Smith, but he said the only way that he'll get through to the Cowboys is by literally leaving training camp and defecting from the team. And he said, because Stephen A. said that's the only thing that Jerry Jones will understand, and that's the only thing that'll get through to him. And here we are 24 hours later. I hate to say that Stephen A. had a crystal ball, or maybe he had a source, but here we are.
And you know what sucks the worst about that, Pete? The worst about that. Maybe not the worst, but it added element. Jerry was running his mouth last week about how if guys want to get paid like leaders, they have to act like leaders. Well, guess what? Micah Parsons could have held out months ago. Micah Parsons doesn't have to be at training camp. Micah Parsons could have demanded a trade 2 weeks ago. He hasn't. So Jerry's talking out of both sides of his mouth. Like, well, he's got to act like a leader if he's going to get paid like a leader. But now you are forcing his hand here. You are forcing him to be a distraction. You are forcing him to hold. And you're right. Like, sure, he could shut up and just play for the money. But here's the deal. I'll just say it again. There are 2 positions in the NFL that are a premium, that teams do pay for, and it is the expectation, right or wrong, that you sign these deals with these guys to get them their money. It's quarterbacks and pass rushers. You get the deal done. TJ Watt just got his done with the Steelers. That's how a competent, functional organization does it. We're seeing what's happening with the Bengals with another great pass rusher. I'm forgetting the guy's name.
Hendrickson.
Thank you. Yeah. Incompetent. Look, who do the Cowboys want to be? Do you want to be more like the Bengals or the Steelers? Yeah. Apparently, we're trying to be more like Cincinnati, which isn't a surprise given 20 years of history at this point. But it is agonizing as a fan. And you finally hit the nail on the head last week when you said I'm finally starting to understand why Cowboys fans get so fed up and think Jerry doesn't want to win. It's bull crap like this. Yeah. And again, for me, it's not that you're struggling to get a deal done. Negotiations are negotiations. It's I don't even have to talk to his agent. And it leads to this. Is Micah Parsons going to demand a trade because you are such a piece of crap? Like, I'm struggling to contain my language and to be kind right now. You are such an entitled child. Like, oh my God, that you won't even speak to a guy's agent.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem like this is going to come to an end anytime soon. And it's, again, as the world turns in Oxnard, and then it'll be as the world turns at the Star. And subconsciously, Jerry has to love this. I don't care what anybody says, and it does get back to the point that you've made so often that, like, do-re-mi doesn't equate to Super Bowl trophies for fans. And, like, that is where there's a disconnect between Jerry Jones and his fan base. I think I always use the term, and I stole it from Murph years ago, but like, these teams are public trusts. Like, the winning or losing really kind of affects like the society around you. Like, you don't have to talk to a sociologist to understand that. It is what it is. If you have a bunch of fans who bleed Dallas Cowboys blue, and every week the Cowboys are getting their ass kicked. Those fans operate in their lives with less morale. It's a fact, right? Like they're paying customers for you. Like you've got to understand that side of the deal. And it doesn't seem like Jerry Jones wants any part of that side of the deal. He just wants to keep making money.
But here's what Jerry doesn't understand, because we've had this script before. We've had Jerry say, "Oh, well, we have other talented guys on the roster. That's why he didn't sign Derrick Henry last year." Oh, we like who we have in the building. He's going to give us that. Let's say Micah this afternoon demands a trade.
Yeah.
Jerry's gonna be like, well, we've got Demar, we've got Overshown, we like our roster, we've got other guys, we don't need him. We've seen that before and it hasn't worked out. But here's the other thing that you just talked about, making money. The Cowboys are still the most valuable sports franchise in the world and the most watched NFL team in America. And they are one of the least successful teams over that course of period, at least in terms of playoff success.
Yeah.
Can you imagine the kind of money that would come to the Cowboys if they were winning playoff games on the regular, like the Patriots did for so long, like the Chiefs have been, like the Eagles have been? Can you imagine? Like this is a baseline for the Cowboys. The product on the field has been a constant disappointment. What would the money look like? What would the cultural impact look like if they won a Super Bowl? And Jerry, you do not win a Super Bowl by letting your best player walk because you're too prideful to negotiate with an agent. And bottom line, the other connecting piece in all of this, you're not going to be able to sign free agent talent if this is how you conduct business. The Cowboys have been relevant for so long because they have drafted very well for 15, 20 years. The Cowboys have drafted remarkably well. But you are not going to be able to sign a top-tier pass rusher off the open market, a number one cornerback off the market, if you deal with players like that, because no player wants to deal with you at this point. I mean, like on one hand...
Let me ask you one more question, and then I do want to hear about this wager you have.
Yeah, we're going to go into the weekend on a fun note, not on this note.
So, but last question. This is not going to be fun for you because it's kind of scary. When you think about this, okay, when Jerry rides off into the sunset, like we all will someday, the team will go to Steven, I would imagine, or Charlotte Jones, but it's still going to be like Steven. I would imagine Steven will still run football. So this mindset isn't going anywhere. So if let's just say Micah holds out or defects or does what Diana Rossini is saying that he is kicking around doing, like, can finally something affect the Cowboys fan base to the point that they will stop paying money hand over fist to support this organization? Like, I think about when the Knicks bottomed out and there were like protests in the streets, right? Or even we saw recently with Nico Harrison and the Luka trade. Like, are the Cowboys untouchable? Like, or could they witness the same fate at some point?
They're untouchable, man, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I don't see it happening. And that was kind of my point a little bit ago.
They're so nationwide, there's Cowboys fans everywhere and they're paying money everywhere.
And you've had this little success in the postseason for 30 years, and you're still making more money than any other franchise in the NFL. I don't think that's ever going to change. I just can't fathom it. And you know what? That is the one thing that would motivate change for the Jones family, is if they started losing money. But the brand is just too valuable. The TV deals is just too much, and it's ingrained in the culture so much, which I love because I'm a Cowboys fan. Yeah. But I wish we'd win some dang playoff games. What I will say, I'd be curious on maybe Mosley's perspective on this. And I think he's talked about this with us before. I've heard mixed reports on Stephen Jones, man, for years. There's a lot of people that think he's a lot sharper than Jerry, not just because he's younger and whatever, but because just in terms of football, we know the famous Zach Martin versus Johnny Manziel draft night story that was Stephen holding Jerry back. Like, there's instances like that where I think I would have some slight optimism the day that Stephen takes over operations from Jerry. Not like full-throated, like, but like, maybe a little optimism. I think Steven is maybe more likely to give a Will McClay or someone else more power over personnel decisions.
There, the truth agrees. He says, I like this too. Yeah, and so, you know, I think, how about this?
I agree. Listen, my fanboy heart would explode, but this is I agree with Bear. I agree with Bear the Truth. I don't want Sawyer playing. If Sawyer Robertson is going to have to demand a trade because Jerry doesn't want to speak to his agent in 4 years, F that. I want Sawyer Robertson going to a franchise like the Steelers, like the Ravens, like the 49ers, like the Broncos. Like go to a franchise that for years has consistently done things the right way. Let's try that. Let's try that.
All right, let's go. I have one more quarterback nugget for you from the Big 12.
Okay.
We'll get into Avery Johnson. Would it shock you to learn that Jalen Daniels did not get along with Jeff Grimes at all last year at Kansas? And like the two were like banging heads. And like that's what we're hearing out of Kansas is that, hey, like Jeff Grimes is gone. Our new OC has been our quarterback coach for 3 years. Like, Daniels is going to be amazing again, and we're out from under that dark cloud of Jeff Grimes' offensive football. Would that surprise you if I told you that?
No.
Yeah. And
listen, by the way, and here's what I would say to that, my disclaimer. I know a lot of people that knew Jeff Grimes personally when he was here in Waco.
Oh, he's the man.
Great dude.
He's the best. I sat and met with him a couple times covering games for ESPN. The best.
A++ human. So any like Jalen Daniels and he didn't get along is strictly football. It's strictly football. But 100%. I mean, that's why he got ran out of Waco is you go to a Big 12 championship game and have an amazing rushing offense his first year, and it was decline. Like that doesn't work. So, and Jalen Daniels did like have his worst season last season after he was preseason offensive player of the year. So you can understand why a 21-year-old star quarterback isn't happy about that.
Yeah. And really too, the Jeff Grimes is a great guy. Hey, congratulations. He's at Wisconsin. He's their OC there. Like,
great program, by the way. He went to a better program.
Yeah, much better. All right. So talk to me about this. Is it an Avery Johnson bet?
Yeah, this came directly from our show, Pete. So,
by the way, I talked to my boy Taylor McHargue yesterday, and Taylor's like, he's still banging the drum for Avery Johnson. Like, look out. Could be player of the year in the Big 12, potential Heisman candidate.
Well, so let me show you this bet I made, and maybe Taylor would double up against me here. So here's how this happened. Here's how this got going, Pete. So someone who apparently watched our show and watched us rank Big 12 quarterbacks. By the way, I want to say yet again, Pete Sousa also did not put Avery Johnson in his top 5. So Pete keeps ripping me for my take, but Pete agreed with me, and he did have Jalen Daniels in his top 5. Okay, I digress. This tweet came through yesterday. Remember when, please bear with me, said Avery sucked and flopped last year because Caleb, this guy Emaw Caleb said, Avery Johnson's the only quarterback in college football last year who had 2,700 passing yards, 25 touchdowns, along with 600 rushing yards and 7 rushing touchdowns, to which I replied and said, are we acting like 2,700 passing yards is amazing in the year of our Lord 2025? That's not a lot. Like, Sawyer Robertson had 400 more yards and started 2 less games. So talk to me about that. But this got another guy to respond.
Your mic's popping a little bit, so don't get it too close to your mouth.
All right, let me
just a tiny bit
off here a little bit. Okay. I'm excited, Pete.
No, you're great. You're great. This is great.
So this guy replies, not Caleb, but another guy replies, and he says, "Hey man, Avery Johnson's gonna blow the haters away." And I said, do you want to wager on that? And he initially replied and said, yeah, if Baylor versus Kansas State, loser has to follow the other guy on Twitter. To which I replied and said, no. My bet was about Avery Johnson. And so then I said, let's raise the stakes. Loser has to wear the opposing team's merch, post it in a photo here, tag the winner, and say, I was wrong about Avery Johnson. We just have to agree of what blowing the haters away means, right? So that's what I tweeted. He did not tweet. He did not tweet back at me for a day. I waited a full day. I was like, this guy's a coward.
Well, he was in the lab, dude. He's figuring it out.
Well, he didn't. So I figured it out for him, and I proposed the bet. Here's what I proposed. Let's make this bet. If Avery Johnson accomplishes any of these, I lose. Top 3 in the Big 12 in passing, top 8 in Heisman voting, first team all Big 12 after the season, or it's not
Most
MVP now. It's most outstanding player. I hate that it's not just MVP because we all know what that means, but most outstanding player at the Big 12. I said if he gets any one, not all 4, any one of those accomplishments, I lose because Scotty Swingler does not think he can get any of those.
Well, that's tough because honestly, Scotty, that he could have an amazing year and still not be in any of those 3.
But the statement was not Avery Johnson will have an amazing year. It was he will blow the haters away.
Yeah.
So those are the accomplishments that I decided. Those will blow me away.
Well, we'll have to put this video up, and
So-
I'll warn you. You're kicking a hornet's nest with Kansas State fans.
I love it. I kicked some Auburn fans the other day too, but I didn't have time to talk about that.
They're all in a room right now playing Sandstorm, figuring like we are going to crush this guy.
Well,
look, it's happened to me. Deal. So it's a deal.
Me and Sir S'mores here. We made the bet. Again, those are the terms of the bet. So if Avery Johnson accomplishes any of these things, I have to wear Kansas State merch, post a photo on Twitter, tag him, and say I was wrong about Avery Johnson. But if he does not accomplish any of these, he has to wear Baylor merch, post a photo, tag me, and say I was wrong about Avery Johnson. I feel really safe, by the way.
You're playing with fire, dude. Kansas State fans are no joke. Mad respect for them.
I feel very safe. This is way safer than the Diamondbacks bet you and I made, by the way. I feel way better about this bet than my Belichick bet.
What is the Belichick bet again? Is it bowl eligibility or over 7 wins?
We set the over under at 6. So I think if it's 6, we probably nullify it. But I said he would not win as many as Mac, and you said he'd win more.
So we got a bet going with you and the Kansas State crew.
I've got at least one bet. We'll see if that's the last one. I might drum it up game week before they come to Waco and bet on the Baylor Bears, especially if we look good against Auburn and SMU.
Dude, Avery Johnson is awesome, man. And I know you're going to say I didn't have him in my top 5.
No, he's not.
Yeah,
he's not.
Yeah, he is. Like, it's not like he really is.
Are we acting like 2,700 passing yards and 600 yards is awesome? That is good.
He's such a threat running the football.
He is good.
Yeah.
He is not awesome. He is not great. He's not Robert Griffin. He's not Sawyer Robertson.
Yeah. All right.
He's
we
not.
get to see.
He's not.
We get to see.
I'll
We
post
get to
this
see
too and
year.
tag him. I'll post him. Hey, man.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm doubling down. Sir S'mores.
right,
Avery
look.
Johnson is mid AF. Come at me, bro. It's Sawyer Robertson season, baby. It's August. Let's go to the weekend. Woohoo!
That's it. The Pete Sousa Show, presented by Slovacics from Flower Mound, is wrapped up. Scotty Swingler, the star of the show once again today. Second only, actually, to Darby Brown. Thanks so much to Darby. Just a terrific source for all of your news, sports-wise, especially if you're in Austin and following the Longhorns. Check her out. And, we'll be back on Monday. Look, we got something pretty crazy planned for Monday's show. And it's going to be I'm not lying. Like, it'll be like an event. Like, people will quite possibly be talking about it. So you just don't want to miss it. I'll, of course, be back in studio with Scotty for that. But yeah, man, big things happening here at the Pete Sousa Show. Couldn't be a better time as we head into the fall. We will be back with you on Monday. Cannot wait. Slovacics, thank you very much. Daniel Stark, Injury Lawyers, thank you so much. Socorro Family Ford, obviously, Extra Co Bank, First National Bank of Central Texas, Crawford Austin Properties. Thank you. We will see you on Monday.
It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extra Co. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down, to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extra Co. has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extra Co.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at 70 miles an hour. I was injured, had a concussion. The insurance company, they delayed. They were playing games from the initial conversation. They weren't going to help me. The biggest thing I learned through this is that you can't go through this alone. I called Daniel Stark. They were going to help me, and everything was going to be all right. Daniel Stark got me 10 times the insurance company offered.
The difference is Stark.
We are Rogue Media Sports.